repeat of Jesse James' days and the final rate reenactment. My name is, like I say, is Dan Freeman, and I've been involved with this committee since 1960 and involved with the raid since 1962. And believe me, it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to speak to you today and tell you the story, set the scene. This is the 53rd anniversary of these reenactments, which began in 1948. We gather here in Northfield every year at this time to honor the extraordinary actions and courage of our early peace-loving citizens. You'll soon begin to hear some of the names of those people, but none gave more than Mr. Joseph Lee Haywood. In 1876, Haywood was treasurer of Carleton College. He was treasurer of the First National Bank, he was treasurer of the Congregational Church and treasurer of the city of Northfield. He was a part-time bookkeeper here in the First National Bank. And it was in that capacity that he lost his life. Now I'm going to take you back to 1876 and describe the town over to you. Northfield was just over 20 years old. Most of the homes were close into the buildings downtown, and the streets were made of dirt. This was an industrious farming area with a growing education and reputation. The town's largest industry was the Ames Mill, and it stands today exactly where it was in 1876, rising up at the river right at the dam. People on the streets that day were pioneer farmers, mill workers, and business people. And sprinkled in among these citizens were a number of Civil War veterans. And although these men were a peaceful lot, they knew what to do in the midst of battle, a fact not counted upon by this gang of desperados. What about these men from Missouri? Why were they so far from home, and why Northfield? First of all, you should know that most of them were Confederate Civil War veterans, and during the war they couldn't with a guerrilla unit named Montrose Raiders. And although the war had been over for 11 years, they continued to use their lawless tactics against the victorious North and revenge. Their many robberies and killings have left their faces on reward posters throughout Missouri and neighboring states. Minnesota offered them fresh targets in an area where they wouldn't be recognized. And Northfield not only offered them the element of surprise, it also offered them a target for their vengeance. And on this day, that target was retired Union Army General Adelbert Ames of the Ames Mill family. Mr. Ames was a war hero, and he had also been appointed provisional governor of Mississippi after the war, and he was hated in the South. Evidence suggests the gang knew of his presence here, and also may have known of his considerable investment in the First National Bank. So, confident they were far enough from home to avoid recognition, and with revenge as their motive, the James Younger gang put the wheels in motion to rob one bank.